Welcome or welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be reviewing the 2014 book Gentrification, A Working Class Perspective by Paton. Please like and subscribe and tell us what you think in the comments. There's something for everyone on this channel, I guarantee it. For the scores, this book gets the following: usefulness 60, engagement 40, depth 80. I like that Paton focuses on a certain group of people for her research. I'll explain later. Accuracy 93, clarity 65, uniqueness 95, book cover 70, overall score 68.97. This book is based upon Paton's research for her PhD studentship, which explains a lot. Kind of like Unequal Childhoods or Social Class in the 21st Century, which reviews you can check out here. Both were excellent books. When it comes to gentrification, however, it doesn't read like the two I just mentioned. Paton's writing is very good and simple when she's analysing the answers she received from people in and around Patrick in Scotland, which is the basis for this book. However, when it comes to concepts and theories, the writing is understandably dry because it's academic as hell and it isn't tailored for general consumption, but it's not bad by any means, and I can see why she got her doctorate for sure. In this book, Paton was commissioned to explore the Scottish town Patrick and how gentrification in the area was affecting the working class residents. Paton talks with working class and middle class residents in the area, and using class analysis, Paton attempts to provide a different angle with regards to gentrification, and she uses the start of the book to explore previous literature on class, whilst introducing how she aims to analyse class herself. I think these two quotes were quite important to lay things out. One, fundamentally a process of class restructuring which is spatially articulated at the local level. Gentrification is defined by Hackworth 2002 as a process that creates space for the progressively more affluent user, which I think captures its contemporary characteristics. And two, the image of the working class as degenerate and immoral is used to help reconstruct the boundaries of regulation and legitimate state control. Brought in as role models, middle-class residents' behaviour is deemed to be worthy and virtuous, as opposed to the problematic working class. Regeneration is a means of redemptively recalibrating stigmatized spaces and subjectivities. Chapter 2, entitled Restructuring Class Identity, is where this book really starts to shine. Why? Because we move away from the necessary but dry talk of theory and onto talking to some real people. I love hearing from working class people and just real people talking real shit about how real life actually is. In the beginning of the book, there's this guy called Brian, and all I'll say is salute to him. He understood the game early and he adapted. Speaking of adaptation, this is a strong theme in this book. Adapting to change whether one agrees with it or not, but more importantly how one adapts to the job market. Paton interviews people who were able to adapt and those who weren't. Each person had their own struggles and achievements, and I found this quite interesting. As always, residents could easily see what the game was, and even though they wanted a life for themselves, they could clearly see that the carrot was on a string. Quote, "Lifelong learning is good, but the idea of settling down and being comfortable seems less and less likely." This was said by one of the residents that Paton talked to, and again, just accurate as hell. And it definitely relates to just life in general, how the economy is, how things are going currently. One thing I commend Paton for doing and putting in this book is inserting her conversations from people she talked to who were organizing to stop gentrification, and she also talked to people who were trying to do the gentrifying. Not just residents, but professionals who oversaw the change. Paton noted that some people in charge or who were involved with a redevelopment project were disappointed with the residents of Patrick and their feedback to the redevelopment of a particular outdoor facility. Quote, "She suggests that the act of taking away would elicit more response from residents than the redevelopment of it ever could. Redevelopment is deemed progressive and residents' opposition to it is anti-modern. Helen's bemusement at residents' recalcitrance signifies that she accepts neoliberal hegemony. Helen connects residents' lack of engagement with the park regeneration process with an unwillingness she can only explain as a lack of self-worth." As we get deeper and deeper into this book, we talk to more people and it's clear to see why gentrification is so controversial. Paton also explores the middle class versus working class clash when it comes to proposals to new developments in the area, and also the pros and cons of being from a certain class background. This is portrayed again through the people. Janie thinks that the middle class demarcate themselves and act in self-interested ways, unlike their working class counterparts, although this may overstate working class coherence and cohesion. Paton explores further, and she rightfully showcases how there isn't a noticeable divide with the attitudes and wants of working class and middle class people. They want the same basic needs, they want the same basic things such as security, etc. But it's hard to find a common ground. I think the biggest thing is detangling the complex financial web when it comes to gentrification. Because as seen in our interviews, there are some working class people who, through home ownership, benefited greatly from gentrification and general rises in property value. All in all, this is a good book and it's the first I've ever read on gentrification. I would recommend it, especially for those who have an understanding about class concepts. I think that will better enable you to follow Paton's thesis. I know a little, but not enough to really keep up with the concepts Paton scrutinizes. So I've read this book a little bit too early in my journey, you know. But either way, I'm glad I've read it, and I can always go back to it when I'm more versed in class literature. Book sales are at the highest they've ever been, and I'm glad that people I know intimately and casually are reading more. If you would like some excellent book recommendations and reviews, please check out my playlist. I guarantee there's something for you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.